Welcome back to Frodsham Community Centre. Race 2, the B final. Coming up next, Graham Howard on pole from Jonathan Provost in the green car. In the yellow, it's Craig Powell, black Pete Bamforth, Paul Evans in the gold car, Matthew Bennett in red. Here's Jake.
So here we go then for race 2. If it can get any more exciting than the first race, I have a feeling it probably will though, because we've got Graham Howard and Jonathan Provost at the front, and then we have Powell and Bamforth followed by Evans and Bennett. Away we go. And into the first couple of corners, there's contact already. It's the black machine of Pete Bamforth that bounces around. A little contact at the front, though, as Howard and Provost come together in the pink and green machines. But it's Graham Howard who holds the lead for the time being in the pink machine, with Craig Powell in the yellow bouncing around. Everybody's bouncing around at the moment as they get used to the cars for the first time. And through the first couple of laps, out in front, it is Graham Howard. Contact for second, and it's a green machine of Jonathan Provost who spins around, but he retains third position just in front of the battling Matthew Bennett and Pete Bamforth in the red and black machines at the back, though. Paul Evans in gold is still struggling to get used to the machinery. Out in front, though, it's Graham Howard in pink who leads it. A bit of a squabble for second between Craig Powell in the yellow and Jonathan Provost in the green, and it's the green machine that takes second position for the moment. Oh, a bit of a moment there for Matthew Bennett in the red machine. He manages to bring it back onto the circuit once more. But out in front, it is Graham Howard, thinking pink, out in front. And still this battle for second position between Provost in green and Powell in yellow. So what you've got to remember about these cars are absolutely standard specs, straight off the hobby store shelf, and none of the drivers have had any time at all to get used to the driving style of these cars. They're used to much quicker, of course. Lots of tuning goes into these standard machines, but this is pure test of driving skill. Who's got what it takes to be the king of the club here tonight? And out in front, it is Graham Howard in pink. Jonathan Provost in green is there in second place. Third is now Pete Bamforth in the black car, moving his way up into a podium position. Fourth is now Craig Powell, but not for long. Oh, contact as he clips Matthew Bennett in the red car, as they both now have to play catch-up with Paul Evans in gold, who moves up into fourth position. So Graham Howard in pink, but possibly not leading for long, because Jonathan Provost in the green machine is closing in, really starting to make a challenge now as they make their way through the long sweeping left-hander into the flick right and into the hairpin. Oh dear, Graham Howard tags the barrier and drops to second place. So Jonathan Provost takes the lead with 3 minutes to go. So Graham Howard in the pink car drops back, and now Jonathan Provost hits the front in the green car. Graham Howard in pink is second, Pete Bamforth in black is third, Paul Evans in gold is now fourth. Fifth position is the yellow car of Craig Powell, and then Matthew Bennett is in red in sixth position. Out in front, though, smooth driving at the moment for Jonathan Provost. Who would have thought he'd be leading after the chaotic start he had, and he's now fought his way back, got used to the car, and is now way out in front, doing a good job. He's actually set the fastest time of the round as well, 13.87 seconds for the lap, although Paul Evans has just gone quicker than that, 13.21, moving up into third position to the gold machine, having got past Pete Bamforth in black. So some great performances then through the field, as once again a bit of calamity in the back of the field as Craig Powell in yellow collides with Matthew Bennett in red, and again they tag together, and again, goodness me, they're bouncing off each other like dodgems at the moment. But Provost in green is out in front still as Graham Howard in pink desperately tries to lap Craig Powell in the yellow car. He could hemorrhage time if he sits behind him too long. Up the inside, sweet, beautiful little move there as Graham Howard makes up for lost time there. And Jonathan Provost in green, he's got breathing space, but I doubt that will last the way it is for the moment. A minute and a half to go, and the man on the move, well, I was going to say the man on the move was Paul Evans in gold. He was catching Graham Howard in pink, hand over fist, and then he clipped the barrier. So he's got to do all that hard work again, and he's got less than a minute and a half to do it. So Jonathan Provost in green, Graham Howard in pink, Paul Evans in gold. That's your top three for the moment. Don't forget about Pete Bamforth. He could close in on Evans here. Evans is in trouble. Bamforth gets through into third position, and it looked like Bennett was going to try and get a lap back as well in the green machine. Oh dear. Jonathan Provost trips over Matthew Bennett in red. And a bit of a slide there for Bennett as he recovers, but Provost has still got a good lead, 5.8 seconds over Graham Howard as we enter the final minute of the race. Third is Pete Bamforth now in black, who is being caught hand over fist again now by Paul Evans in gold. He's right on his tail. Can he get him on the inside? Oh, there's contact with the barrier. They're both clipping the barrier. A great battle for third position developing here between Bamforth and Evans. Up the inside, Evans takes third position. Can Bamforth get him on the switchback? He's swarming all over the back of him like an angry bee, trying to move move up into that third position once again. It's going to be so close for third between these two, but it's looking like Jonathan Provost has got himself a sweet rhythm out in front, and he could well take this one with 22 seconds on the clock as he begins another lap. So I think he's only going to get a lap or so more out of this race, and it's looking like Graham Howard in pink is going to have to hope for a mistake if he wants to take a victory here. Third position, still very much anybody's guess between Pete Bamforth and Paul Evans. Evans up the inside, very close indeed between them. Evans now sweeps through the inside and he gets him. This could be the run to the flag for them. Provost takes his victory, I believe. Graham Howard in second place. Evans has just got through to grab third position from Pete Bamforth. Craig Powell in yellow is fifth and Matthew Bennett in red is sixth. So Jonathan Provost becomes the next winner of the night in the green machine, out in front by a commanding 5.5 seconds at the end of a brilliant race.
Dominating performance by the race winner, Jonathan Provost in the green car from Graham Howard. Fastest lap went to Paul Evans, 13.210, but he could only manage third. Here's Jake with Jonathan.
Well, Jonathan, very close race at the start. It was a bit hectic, but once you got into the lead, you got a nice rhythm.
Yeah, it's just getting out of the way. It's smooth driving, a lot harder than normal cars. You've got to be as smooth as you can, because if you get into a gaggle of cars and then you hit the wall, it loses so many seconds. You can't make it up because the speed of them. It's just very technical and very hard to stay in the lead.
Last race of the Frodsham Model Car Club 25th Anniversary Cup meeting. It's the A final. Neil Evans off pole from Paul Fruin, Andrew Matu off P3, Jason Bennett off 4, Jonathan Wells off 5 and Neil Fletcher off 6.
So our third and final encounter of the night then. Neil Evans and Paul Fruin at the front from Andrew Matu and Jason Bennett. Then we have Jonathan Wells and Neil Fletcher. Can it get any more intense than the first two races have already shown us? Away we go. And a bit of a creep on the grid from Jonathan Wells in black, but it's not gained him much of an advantage there. In fact, we've got a spinner at the back. It's Neil Fletcher in gold. But out in front, it is Neil Evans who leads the way from Paul Fruin, Andrew Matu. And then in fourth position, Jason Bennett in the yellow is trying to come around the outside. Already Jonathan Wells has stormed his way up to third position in the black car as he chases down Paul Fruin in green and Neil Evans in pink out in front. Great little tussle between Jason Bennett and Neil Fletcher at the back of the field as they battle over fifth position, with Neil Fletcher now in fifth place in gold and Jason Bennett in the yellow in sixth position. Contact as Jonathan Wells in black makes his move on Neil Evans, who's dropped the way back to third place now. So Paul Fruin in green is out in front. He leads at the moment into the fourth lap of the race. Running very wide at the front there as Jonathan Wells in black moves into second position. Neil Evans in pink is there in third. Andrew Matu in fourth is the blue car, ahead of Neil Fletcher in gold and Jason Bennett in yellow. Neil Fletcher in gold is there in second position. Jonathan Wells third in the black machine. Fourth is now Andrew Matu as he makes his way past Neil Evans in pink. It's all tumbled away for Neil Evans. He's got to find a nice rhythm to get back. Up the inside, cheers very much for the memories. Up on the inside of Andrew Matu and back into fourth position he goes. Now he's chasing down Jonathan Wells in the black machine. Up the inside, he really is coming back now. This is the fight back we were hoping to see. Neil Evans is now back into third position, chasing down Neil Fletcher in gold. And Paul Fruin in green is still your race leader, out in first place. So Paul Fruin leads at the moment in the green machine. Second is Neil Fletcher in gold. Neil Evans out in the pink machine in third position. Jonathan Wells in black is fourth, ahead of Andrew Matu in blue, and Jason Bennett still very much in the fight in sixth position in yellow. In terms of the spread of the field, this is easily the closest race we've had so far, with everybody still on the lead lap. Paul Fruin is losing time here to Neil Fletcher in gold. Fletcher's going to try and make his move up the inside. Sweeps around to the inside for the hairpin. Can he make his move going into the next lap? He's right on the tail of Paul Fruin. Can he make his move on the inside? He makes his lunge for the inside hairpin. Yes, he's through. Beautifully done from Neil Fletcher. He takes the lead, and it might not be long before Neil Evans in pink gets past as well, bouncing off the barrier through the pair of right sweeps. And now towards the hairpin once again. Fletcher is in command. But look out, Paul, you're about to lose another place. Neil Evans gets through side by side for second position. Evans bounces off the wall. And again, they continue this charge for second position as Neil Fletcher in gold leads the field. Second is Paul Fruin, just in the green, ahead of Neil Evans in pink. Jonathan Wells in the black is fourth, Andrew Matu in the blue is fifth, and Jason Bennett, now dropping back in the yellow, could become a bit of a factor here. He bounces off the walls as Neil Fletcher closes him down. Fruin still bouncing off the walls like a pinball, and up the inside, Neil Evans in the pink moves into second position and bounces off the barrier himself. Goodness me, Neil Evans in the pink bounces wide, and that drops him back to third position. He's got to make up all that time on Paul Fruin in green again. But out in front, it is Neil Fletcher in gold with a minute to go. And be careful, Jason. You're going to cause a bit of a roadblock here if you're not careful. He manages to allow the leaders through as Neil Evans makes another lunge for Paul Fruin. But Paul is not budging. He's not going to let him through. Off the final turn, and again, Neil Evans is looking for a manoeuvre up the inside of Paul Fruin here. Can he make it at the hairpin? He's tight on the exit. Side by side, can he tuck in for the inside line? This is great battling for them for second position. Up the inside, Neil Evans grabs that second position, and Paul Fruin is desperately trying to get it back again. So close for second place, and Neil Fletcher is only a second or so up the road. So this really is the closest fight we've had so far. This time there are three drivers battling. Now Neil Evans has broken the train. Paul Fruin is being left behind with less than 15 seconds on the clock. This is the opportunity Neil Evans has been hoping for, right on the tail of Neil Fletcher. Who's going to get it? Neil Fletcher in gold is right there. He's going to come through the final few turns of this race. Fletcher, Neil Evans, Paul Fruin, and that is how I think it's going to end. Very close indeed between Neil Fletcher and Neil Evans. Into the final few corners. They're going to be side by side into the final turn, and a big lunge from Neil Fletcher, who just comes through. Unbelievable. A bit of a dodgy move there for the finish of that one. That was cheeky as you like, but Neil Fletcher seals the deal at the last corner. Wow, what a finish.
What a finish indeed. Amazing end to the evening. It's Neil Fletcher that takes the spoils. Neil Evans had the fastest lap but wasn't able to get it done. After the race, Jake caught up with the race winner.
A very close race between the pair of you. Did you think it was going to be you all the way?
No, I thought I was going to be in the sort of midfield sort of thing. But yeah, I was do give me all. I'm trying not to make a few mistakes, so it's meant less mistakes as possible.
Well, how about that for our first look at model car racing? I suspect it won't be our last. 0.6 of a second split the leading two drivers in that first race, and a lick of paint in the third. Next year, we hope to bring you more model car racing from around the UK, possibly even a Motors TV series. We'll see you then.